Everyone's got a slightly different code style, and different projects and different teams do things in a slightly different way. And that could be a bit of a pain when you're using Laravel's artisan make commands, because they put a few things in there that you got to remove and change every single time. So, for example, if I go and make a middleware called example, it's going to go and make a middleware class for me, but there's a few things that I would typically change. First of all, I know every middleware is handling incoming requests, so I don't really need this line here. And if I remove that line, I'm just left with this single docblock line, which can be useful, but I would prefer that just be on a single line rather than having multiple lines here. So what I'm going to do is change that to one single line, maybe fix up some of the spacing here for my own benefit. And then at the top, let's say I want to declare strict types on every file here. So if I've got to do that every time I run an artisan make command, it's going to be a bit of a pain. Not the biggest nuisance in the world, but, a little bit of a pain. Same for if I do something like, let's say make migration. Let's say create comments table. We'll go through and we'll look at that. And it's going to be similar things again. I don't find any of these doc blocks useful, so I might just remove those. This doesn't actually have a type hint of void, so I might go and add a type hint of void myself manually. Maybe I don't like down migrations at all, and I just want to get rid of those. So I'd go through and do that. But it's a pain to do every single time. So what we can do instead is run artisan stub publish. And what we'll see that does is publishes the stubs that Laravel uses. So we'll see a new stubs directory appear in our application. And that's going to include all of the stubs that get used. So let's look at the migration one, for example. The migration create stub is going to be this one here. And this lines up pretty much with what we had here. So there's an ID and a timestamps column, and this has an ID and a timestamps column. And for different types of migrations, for a regular one or for an update, there's also these as well. But if I come over here and I now change this stub file, I can do that. I can add in the void like I wanted. I can remove the down method. To do that, I save it back, and I'm going to go and create a new migration. I'm going to call this create categories table. And I look at this one, and that now has all of the changes that I made to that stub file. So what I can do is I can go through the stubs directory and look at all of the things that are in there, change it to how I like, and then Laravel's going to just use those going forward. And I don't even need to keep all of them here. If I just wanted to replace the migration stub, I could come and delete every other file that's in this directory. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and change all of these stubs to exactly what I think they should look like when I start to use them.